You're a welcome sight, hero.
Not too long ago, I read an article titled "Gaming as Addictive as Heroin." This piece of tabloid journalism referenced games such as Call of Duty and Candy Crush Saga to build up a flimsy case based purely on circumstantial evidence. By the end of the article, it was clear that even the author of the piece wasn't convinced of the case he was making. At the time, it was apparent to me that true gaming addiction, much like social media addiction, only affects a very small percentage of its user base. As such, I dismissed the article as nothing more than sensationalist garbage. Then I played Diablo 3 and realised that the case may have been sound after all. It was the game's reference which were wrong. Set 20 years after the events of its predecessor, the world is once again under threat by that crafty Diablo. You take on the role of the hero who is tasked with putting a halt to his schemes and making everything right in the world, once again. Whilst there are some truly excellent CGI visuals used in telling this story, the dialogue and events quickly develop a cheesy vibe. I mean, it's hard to take the whole, a threat beyond imagining dialogue seriously, when moments before its delivery, you've single-handedly vanquished a similarly dire threat with little to no effort. However, this is what Diablo 3 is all about. You will face countless demonic creatures and other unpleasant entities, and smite them all using a simple, yet incredibly satisfying combat system. When that's done, you round the next corner and do it all over again. It's a simple joy that never gets old thanks to a huge variety of creature types and enemy variety. Lesser enemies will often swarm your position only to be cut down in droves as larger, more powerful creature types make their way into the fray, thusly changing the tempo of the battle. Elite units and mini-boss type entities will also appear to keep you on your toes. There is real depth to the class system offered in Diablo 3. On startup, you'll be prompted to choose from one of 6 classes. From here on in, you'll gain experience and level up in the usual RPG manner, unlocking additional skills to use in battle. Each of these skills has its own unlockable sub-modifier. Given that only a limited number of skills can be equipped at any given time, it's possible to create a truly unique character, even among its own class type. It's a fantastic system that proves that simplicity doesn't necessarily equal shallowness. Battling through the campaign and adventure mode on your own is an enjoyable romp. Co-op gameplay, however, takes Diablo 3 all the way to 11. With other players, and more often than not classes at your side, the amount of action depicted on screen verges on the ludicrous. The fast and frantic gameplay suddenly becomes chaotic in the funnest possible way. This is the best way to tackle the higher difficulty settings, as the cash and experience gains increase, as does the loot drop frequency. What caffeine is to coffee, loot is to Diablo 3. I cannot think of another game whose loot system is as joyous and rewarding as that found in Diablo 3. Vanquishing a larger monster or an elite unit will trigger pieces of gear to rain to the ground. This is the equivalent of cracking open a pack of collector cards. The gear is colour marked, indicating rarity and ultimately usefulness. White, for example, is the base colour, and this is the most commonly found. This then progresses to blue, then to yellow, and ultimately to orange, which indicates a piece of legendary gear has fallen. Seeing a piece of legendary gear appear is electrifying. It'll make you want to clear the area as quickly as possible, so you can savour the moment of unwrapping it via inspecting the piece in your inventory. Here its type, appearance, and most importantly stats will be revealed. Thanks to the Loot 2.0 system, each piece of legendary gear will be something you want. It's a fantastic design that drives the player to return to the game time and time again. The graphics engine is beginning to show its age. Whilst it does look nice, the scenic art direction feels a little bland at times, and the particle and lighting effects are miles behind what's seen in the likes of infamous Second Son. That being said, if you're playing the game the way it's meant to be played, then the scenery will be barely noticeable. This is a game where action is the focus, and as such, it's important to note that the engine seems to maintain 60 frames per second throughout. I've yet to notice any frame rate drops despite taking part in some truly hectic co-op battles. In breaking down the nuances of Diablo 3, it's clear just how much effort Blizzard have put into honing this game. Every gameplay element has been thoughtfully designed to complement another. From the class system to the combat, Diablo 3 is a wholly enjoyable experience. Even the weak story is entertaining in a Hollywood blockbuster kind of way. However, the loot system transcends the overall experience and turns an already fun game into something that just begs to be played over and over again. You've been warned.